My great people, what a wonderful Friday it is. I just wanted to step out here and talk to you about choices and decisions. A lot of times we think they're the same, they run synonymous, but there's a slight difference because your choices means you have an opportunity to choose between this and that. And most choices are decided by our beliefs, by our morals, by our values. And we choose between something based on the feelings that we get by how we've been raised, our moral compass, the value system that we have that we live by, and as well as, our beliefs, whether it's faith, whether it's your belief in a system or people, whatever it is. When it comes to decision, it's more factual. It's more analytical. We analyze something and we make a decision. Now, you could have a choice between this and that and still analytically decide to do something. But here's the thing I want you to keep in mind. It must always be consciously, because a lot of times we make decisions on habits, or we just do things, and we do things either out of fear, or we do things out of just a reaction, or something that's just comes out of nowhere. We just decide to do something because we think that's the right thing to do. But when you understand that you always have a choice, let it be known that you make the choice from your heart, through your values, your moral compass, through your beliefs. Because when you decide and understand that you can make a choice, then you can rely on your heart. See, I'm going to tell you something. Most of you go through the same thing I do. You have a civil war that's going on inside of you, especially people that have morality. Because what happens is you want to make the decision from your heart, but your mind tells you, as it reasons, hey, don't do that. You might not want to do this. Remember this last experience. Remember that, right? Because it starts to analyze. It starts to cut out. The Latin word for decision means to cut out, right? So it's cutting out things based on how you're analytically thinking it. But you have to make a conscious decision. It must be a conscious decision, because you have to realize why you're making that decision, because it's always going to affect people. And you have to know that you have a choice to choose between this and that, and choose with your heart, because your mind is always going to try to outweigh you. Yes, make a decision based on reasoning, but let your heart lead the reasoning. Let your morals, your belief, and your values lead that. Let your heart lead the way. If your heart is in the right place, let your heart lead the way. If your heart is not in the right place, you got to do some things to figure out how to get your heart in the right place. I've made some terrible decisions lately, just not doing things based on fear. Fear cannot be what leads us, what stops us, because fear is the enemy within. Fear will stop you from doing things. Fear will make you do other things. Fear will put your heart back and let your mind say, no, just do this. Maybe just do that, just to, because we're going to analyze this and let's try to just keep it at bay. No, let your heart lead the way and do what's right. Do the right thing. Do the best thing. Let your morals be out front. Your values. Listen, show people your values so they know what you're worth. And let that be from your belief in your heart, because that's what's going to lead you down there. Where your treasures are, that's where your heart will be also. So choose where your belief system is. When you analyze everything, you think yourself out of the choice, and you just decide to do something. A lot of times we decide in reaction rather than in a spiritual or morale choice. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, to think about it and make conscious decisions. Tap into your heart first. Know that you have a choice always, right? And just don't decide based on analytics. You see what happens in sports. Sometimes they decide analytics and they get away from what they believe in the sport. So I want you all to just tap into your choice system, tap into your heart, tap into what you believe, tap into your moral compass and your value system as you make decisions, because they can go hand in hand. But if you just decide on a whim, a lot of times you're deciding in reaction and you're thinking yourself out of the moment. Stay in the moment and let God lead you. Hey, I hope you guys have a great weekend. You all know what I want you to do. Be great.